Once upon a time, in a lush green meadow, full of delicious seeds and wiggly worms, there lived a family of pheasants. The mother pheasant had soft brown feathers like fallen autumn leaves, and was gentle and caring. The father pheasant was grand and handsome, with colorful feathers on his head, a bright red patch around his eye, and long shimmering golden and brown tail feathers under the sun. Both parents were very proud of their little chicks. One night, there was a strong gusty wind that shook the trees and scattered the leaves everywhere. The next morning, while the mother pheasant was preparing her nest, she found a strange egg, lying cold and lonely, near the edge of the meadow. It was slightly larger than her own eggs, and of a different shape, but the mother pheasant, with her kind heart, gently rolled the mysterious egg into her warm nest beside the others. The next morning, as the sun shone down, the eggs began to crack. One by one, the little chicks hatched. Ben, Billy, and Barney. They were tiny soft balls of fluff, brown and yellow, chirping loudly for their breakfast. Mama and Papa Pheasant were very proud. Then the slightly larger mystery egg began to wobble. Tap, tap, crack. Finally, another chick rolled out. It looked like its brothers, maybe a little bigger and certainly clumsier, wobbling on its little legs. Immediately, the mother pheasant rubbed her head against it and said, "Let's call him Patches," as she held him close affectionately. But this little chick had strangely patchy feathers. Unlike its brothers, Ben, Billy, and Barney were very excited about growing up and becoming beautiful. "I'll have bright, colorful feathers like Papa," Ben would boast. "I'll have a long, shiny tail," Billy chirped. "I'll have amazing colors like Papa," Barney added cheerfully. Then they would look at Patches, who was concentrating hard on pecking at a stubborn seed. "What about Patches?" snickered Ben. "He can't even peck straight," giggled Billy. "He trips more than he hops," laughed Barney. Patches heard them this time, and his little head drooped. Why couldn't he be quick and graceful like his brothers? Why were his feathers so plain and dull? One afternoon, feeling particularly sad, Patches watched his brothers proudly show off the palest of spots that had begun to appear on their feathers. They made a fuss about it. "Look, Patches, I've got this color." Ben pointed to a slightly darker feather on his head. "Mine's much brighter," Billy added, puffing out his chest. "I'm going to look just like Papa." Barney sighed. A tear welled up in Patches's eye. He wandered away from his boasting brothers, hiding near a bramble bush, feeling miserable. Suddenly he heard a soft chirp nearby. "Hello, Patches," came the voice. Patches peeked through the leaves and saw a young female pheasant with soft brown feathers sitting there. "Hello, Patches," she said kindly. "Why the long face? My brothers tease me," Patches mumbled, kicking at a pebble. "They say I'm plain and clumsy. They're getting colors, but I'm just brown and patchy. They say I'll never be handsome like Papa." "Well," Penny said cheerfully, tilting her head, "I'm going to stay brown. Female pheasants are brown. It helps us hide our nests and keep our babies safe. Brown is a very good color to be." Patches looked at her, and she seemed perfectly happy to be brown. "But I'm a male pheasant," he said. "Male pheasants are supposed to be brightly colored." Penny said. "Maybe your colors just take longer to appear. Or maybe you're special." She hopped closer. "Don't worry about the color just yet. Would you like to find some crunchy berries with me?" Patches felt a little better. Penny didn't laugh at him. She liked brown. They spent the afternoon digging for food and sharing stories. Penny was a true friend. As the weeks went by, Patches and Penny explored together everywhere. But Patches couldn't help noticing that his brothers were changing. Their heads were definitely colorful now, their tails longer with clear gold and brown patterns, and red skin was showing around their eyes. They looked more like Papa Pheasant every day. Patches, on the other hand, grew up a bit, but his feathers were still brownish-orange, still clumsy. The teasing didn't stop. Patches, the plain, muddy-feathered one, they would call, though they were mostly too busy admiring themselves to bother him too much. Still, it hurt. One day, feeling very bored, Patches and Penny wandered farther than ever, drawn by strange, unusual calls carried by the wind. They came to an old stone wall at the edge of the meadow. The calls were louder here. "Kiao, Kiao, what is that?" Penny whispered. Patches felt a stirring inside him. He had to look. They found a loose stone and peered through the crack. On the other side was a garden, unlike anything they had ever seen. And walking across the lush green grass were the most magnificent birds Patches could imagine. They were much larger than Papa's pheasants. One had a brilliant blue neck, a small crown on its head, and a long trail of feathers trailing behind. Those feathers were bright green and yellow, decorated with huge spots that looked like eyes. Patches felt a strange pull towards these grand birds. He didn't know why, but he felt less out of place looking at them. He squeezed through the gap in the wall, Penny right behind him. A large, graceful bird with softer cream feathers, but still with an elegant neck and little crown, noticed them. She walked over to them with slow, regal steps and looked kindly at Patches. "Well, hello there, little one," she said in a soft, musical voice. "Why don't you go play with your siblings?" she said, pointing at the younger birds that looked like Patches and Penny. "Oh, Penny and I are pheasants," Patches chirped uncertainly. "But my brothers have color now, red and green and gold. I just stayed brown." The beautiful bird tilted her head, studying Patches' feathers closely. A gentle smile appeared in her eyes. "Oh, my dear," she said softly, guiding him towards a shiny pond. Patches peered into the water and saw his reflection. He was still mostly brownish-gray. But wait, was that a hint of shimmering blue starting to show on his neck feathers? "You, dear bird, are a peach chick," the kind bird said. "Your colors are just starting to come in. Peacock colors take longer to show than pheasant colors, but oh, when they do." She gestured towards the magnificent male bird nearby, proudly fanning his incredible tail like a giant sparkly rainbow. Patches stared at his reflection, then at the glorious peacock, and then back at himself. A peacock. He wasn't an ugly pheasant after all. He was a baby peacock. He wasn't plain. His beauty was just starting to bloom. A wave of happiness bubbled up inside him. He wasn't wrong or odd. He was just different. A wonderful different kind of bird. Patches grew up to be the most stunning peacock in the garden. His tail became a breathtaking fan of blues, greens, and golds, with iridescent eyes shining through. He loved his peacock family, but he still visited Mama and Papa Pheasant and his kind friend Penny at the wall, sharing stories and berries. Ben, Billy, and Barney never teased him again. They all learned an important lesson. Being a handsome pheasant was wonderful. Being a magnificent peacock was wonderful. And being a brown pheasant was wonderful too. Being different wasn't ugly. It was the most beautiful thing of all.